What's going on, guys? My name is Nick Neville. I'm an ex-baseball nomad, played at three high schools, four colleges now, and the co-founder of Dojo Baseball, a remote baseball training business based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm here in my backyard. What's up? And today we're going to talk about why you need baseball more than it needs you. I learned a lot of lessons when I played baseball, and now that I'm not playing and I'm on the training side, I think it's given me a lot of clarity and allowed me to kind of take a step back and really figure out what playing baseball is all about, and just kind of what I wish I knew when I was playing. Here are five things that I learned playing ball that I wish I knew when I was playing in it, right? Number one, the game owes you nothing. When I was playing, I was one of the hardest workers on every single team I was on. Took endless swings, ground balls, like did all the mental training, made sure my diet was on point, like did all these different things. And because I was working so hard, I almost felt like I deserved success because of it, which obviously couldn't be further from the truth. But I think what that did to my mindset was that when I didn't have success, or that when I struggled, I kind of played victim, and I would turn to, friends or teammates or whoever, and just seek validation, because I was like, I'm working so hard. I'm, taking way more swings than, this guy who's hitting 150 points higher than me. Why am I not having success? And I think, one of the biggest things I've learned is just, hard work doesn't guarantee success. The only thing that it guarantees, I think Casey Weather said this, hard work doesn't guarantee success, it guarantees honesty. And I think I couldn't really come to grips with the fact that I was working super hard, doing all the things that I thought I needed to be doing, and still wasn't seeing the results that I was looking for. And it kind of made me bitter, not just when I was playing, but the short time after, maybe 6 months after. I was like, I worked so hard, I did all these different things, it's not fair. And I think kind of what I learned was that, baseball, a lot like life, isn't fair. Sometimes you make a perfect pitch and somebody hits a homer. Sometimes you hit the ball right on the screws and somebody robs you. Um, Sometimes in life something happens where you feel like you've been slighted, and in reality it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? That the game will go on, life will go on without you. So that's kind of my next point, is the game will go on without you, right? I always felt like I knew so much about baseball. I was such a baseball nerd. I had all these baseball connections. I worked so hard. I played at all these different schools. Um, Something's going to happen in baseball with me. I'm going to be a big leaguer. I'm going to do this, that, or the third. Um, and what I learned is that as soon as I stopped playing, like, I got a ton of support from people saying, you had a great career and doing this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And then, couple weeks later, it was like nothing happened. Everyone just kind of went back to doing their own thing and living their own life. And I think what I've learned, not just about baseball but about life, is that most people are really only care about their own life, about their own things, about different things that are going on in their life. So many people are dealing with so many different things that they really don't have time to care about your stuff, right? And so um I think what I learned is just understanding that, like, I was fortunate enough to even have the experiences that I did, to play at the schools that I did. I played at Notre Dame, I played at San Jack, I played at South Carolina, I played at Southern Illinois. I went to IMG Academy in high school. I went to Lake Braddock in high school, which is one of the best schools in the state of Virginia at the time, right? I played at all these different schools, and I had success at some and failed at others. And um, there are guys coming up behind me through the pipeline at each of those schools that, are probably better players than me, and I thought, because I was good at one school, or I had talent, that, it meant something. And at the end of the day, it did to me. But I spent so much time just seeking validation from others, and, hoping that I was going to be important to other people, when in reality, like, it's my belief now that you kind of create your own meaning, because the game, life, it's going to go on without you, right? I broke a home run record my last year of college, and I was like, finally, like, one accomplishment that I can really hang my hat on. And guess what? The next year it got broken by one of my teammates from the year before. So I think it just goes to show that we're all just playing a small piece in the baseball world. It's not something that, you know, you don't deserve success. The game, doesn't need you. So, I think, kind of what I learned as well, like the next point I'm going to bring up is that, living in fear of the unknown is going to absolutely ruin you. So I went to a bunch of different schools, met a bunch of different people, like had a roller coaster life. And I think what I learned is that the reason I had the roller coaster life is because of things that I was doing, not because of, everything is so unfair. And because I went to so many different schools, I always thought like, what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next year? What's going to happen next week? And I think having that fear of the unknown put a lot of pressure on me when I was playing, because in the moment I was thinking, if I don't play baseball, if I'm not in the show, what's going to happen? Like, am I going to live a happy life? And are other people still going to think I'm like a good person, or that I'm valuable or worth something? And all that fear, I think, really led into me playing with so much anxiety, and honestly really just drove me crazy. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I was such a hard worker, is because I was like, oh, if I just do X, Y, and Z, then, I can control my destiny. But at the end of the day, that's not how it goes. In life, a million different things get thrown at you every single day. You never know what's going to happen. And so the only thing we can control is ourselves and the response that we have to all the craziness that's going on in your life, right? I used to think like, wow, this guy went in the first round. Like, his life is so easy. Like, he didn't have it as hard as I did. But what I've learned since, or what I believe now, is that, guys that go in the first round obviously are very talented, but there are plenty of guys who are talented enough to be first rounders that aren't, because of their mindset, right? And the reason why it seems like people who go in the first round never really struggle is because they can handle with the failure, or they can handle the failure in the day to day. They can handle the success every single day, knowing that, rent's due every single day when you play baseball, and in life, right? You get up in the morning, you go to your job one day, you do a good job. Next day, if you don't show up, like, yesterday doesn't matter, right? So I think, my perspective has shifted since, and I now understand that, like, the most successful people in baseball and in life, don't fear the unknown. They go about their business on a day-to-day basis, and they do their best every single day, and can live with the outcomes because they know that they're doing their best and controlling their self, and they have the confidence to continue to push forward. Um, and so, the next point that I want to bring up is the purpose of playing is to grow the game. It's not to be a big leaguer. It's not to set a record. It's not to achieve XYZ goal. No matter who you are, whether you're Mike Trout or you're the last player on the roster on your high school JV team, you are playing a small part in growing the game, right? And I think what I learned is that when I was making it all about myself, when I was all about my career, when I was all about getting to the next level, the next thing, that's when I struggled the most, because I was putting so much pressure, and, thinking that I was way more important in baseball than, I really was. And I think, what I've really tried to take away is that, I really just want to live in the day to day now. And that's one thing I wish I would have done when I played baseball, is just live in the day to day, and try and grow the game, and be the best teammate I possibly could. Um, when I was at South Carolina my junior year, before the year, I'll never forget this. One of my teammates goes, would you rather the Gamecocks go to Omaha or you go in the first round? And I selfishly said I would rather go in the first round, because I was like, I'm here to get drafted. And, we struggled that year, because I think I was part of the problem, in the sense that I was only worried about me. I was only worried about my career. And here I am, didn't go in the first round, didn't go to Omaha. And, knowing that I'm not a big leaguer, knowing that I'll never play in the big leagues, I wish I would have went to Omaha. Even if I was sitting the bench and watching, that would have been an amazing experience. And so, what I've kind of learned is that the purpose of playing is just to grow the game, and play your part, do your best, and see how far you can take it, right? I think it's great to set goals, and it's great to be very ambitious and want to play in the show and be an all-star and be a Hall of Famer. I think you should want those things, right? I think to be like a great competitor and a great player, You have to think you're capable of those things. You have to think that you're going to be one of the best, right? But at the same time, the overall purpose of you playing, in the baseball world as a whole is to grow the game and continue to progress the game, right? Think about how hard pitchers are throwing now, or if, you follow amateur baseball, college baseball is insane. We have, a million guys, it seems like, in college that are throwing upper 90s, right? And they're all playing their part to grow the game and show everybody, how exciting this game can be. And, I think when you kind of take it off of yourself and, this is about me, this is about my career. Number one, you get a lot of pressure. And number two, your teammates are going to hate you unless you're the absolute best player that they've ever played with. And even then, I know guys who are studs who are in the big leagues who all of their teammates don't like, even if they're a really good player, right? And so I think just understanding, like, look, it's my purpose to grow the game. It's my purpose to continue to progress everything, I think, is something that I wish I would have thought about when I was playing. And then the last one, right? Baseball taught me so many skills. I'm not playing anymore, but I think, when I was in the moment, I was thinking, why am I hitting every single day if I'm not going to be a big leaguer? Why am I working so hard? Why am I doing this and that? Especially towards the end of my career when, I was looking down the barrel, right? My career was about to die. And I was thinking, why would I keep pushing? Why would I keep doing this? And fortunately enough, I kept working hard regardless. But I think what I've learned is that the skill of discipline, the skill of creating confidence on your own, the skill of, I went to 7 schools in 10 years. I learned how to make friends and I learned how to lose them too. I learned what not to do when you're the new kid. I learned what to do when you're the new kid. I learned how to be a great teammate. It might have taken me longer than it takes a lot of other people, but I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to be a man and just take action, right? Whether you're in the big leagues or not, whether you play 20 years in the show and you're a first ballot Hall of Famer, you get cut from your JV team, there are lessons to be learned from baseball as long as you're playing them, right? And it doesn't matter whether you're playing baseball or you're doing something else. There are so many lessons to be learned in everything. You just have to look for them. You know what I'm saying? I was just having a conversation with my friend the other day and he's like, dude, I should have played football. I should have done this. I should have done that. And I'm thinking, well, dude, it's too late for that now. You got to learn and take away what you can right now, because if you spend your life thinking what if you spend your life waiting for one simple destination to make everything better for you, you're going to live a pretty unhappy and unfulfilling life. Take it from somebody who promised himself he would never be happy or satisfied until he was in the show, and guess what? I never made it. So what did I have to do? I had to change my mindset and realize that the purpose of me playing baseball may not have been for me to be a big leaguer. Was I good enough to be a big leaguer? Probably not, because if I was, I'd be there, So I think just taking away that, the skills that I learned, the connections I developed, the people I met, those are the things that I'll cherish with me forever, that nobody can ever take away from me, right? You could take away that home run record that I set for one year that was broken the next year, whatever. You can take away, all the schools, pedigree that I went to, if all these schools are absolutely terrible and nobody cares about that, but you'll never be able to take away my ability to talk to people, be a man, have confidence, be a leader. And those are all things that I learned through baseball, even if I sucked for a lot of my college career. So, in conclusion, those are really the 5 things that I wanted to talk about in this video. I played all over. I had a lot of different experiences, and really I just want to share my experiences with the world, because I didn't have the straightest path, and I realize now that it was largely my doing. So if you watch this video all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. Leave a comment, shoot us a message if you want to see anything else. And yeah, that's all I got. Peace.